Hello and welcome to my review of the Solar Auxilia Lasrifle section for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. Now typically one box of these would consist of 20 Solar Auxilia. I'm showcasing 10 because you get 10 in one option in your Liber Imperium army book. I do have the full 20 built. Of course you can use the set as one solid unit of 20 or two sets of 10. The set of 20, which is included in this Solar Auxilia battle group, consists of 380 plastic components. That's a huge number for 20 you know, infantry-sized minis. And the format of this review is as usual. I'll have a look at some of these minis up close. I'll go through how easy they were to build, how hard they were to build. I'll show you a good selection of the spare parts from building 10 of them. Then I'll go through some size comparisons with other Solar Auxilia units, and at the end I'll go through all of their rules found in the Liber Imperium book. So first things first, let's have a look at the miniatures. They're pretty decent, they're a good size as well. They seem quite tall, you know, only in miniature wise, only about a foot shorter than Space Marines, you know, the new Mark 3s and Mark 6s. So they go well against, you know, other infantries of different factions. I mean, they're taller than the Tech Thralls, but they're just not quite as tall as the Space Marines, which is brilliant. So the unit typically consists of a sergeant and then 9 normal auxiliars, all equipped with Lasrifles, and then of course you can equip them all with bayonets, which costs an extra point. One with a Vox interlock, one with a Auxilia Vexilla, and one with an augury scanner. So this is my sergeant in this group of 10 right here, with this charnable blade or power sword or whatever you want to call it. Let's just have a little zoom in to him. I've given him a plasma pistol as well, and a special, look at me, I'm the leader, helmet. I won't get shot at by a sniper. I've also given him a cheeky melter bomb as well. Why not? You can kind of attach the torsos on any of the legs. The downside of that is you only get like 5 legs. What I mean by that is, it's in this kit, like the kit of 20, you're going to get 4 of the same sprue. So you're not going to get, you know, 2 different sprues duplicated. It is 4 of exactly the same sprue, and those sprues include everything to build 5 with the sergeant's different weapons, with the Lasrifles, the bayonets, the power packs or power plants, which you know, if they did you know, have some spare Lasrifles, you could actually glue them onto the back, much like the command section includes like a spare Lasrifle look, and you can just glue that onto the back, which is quite cool. So yeah, you get a number of options: plasma pistols, power fists, charnable blades, power swords, all those kind of things. Pretty nice. And yeah, you can put the torsos on any of the legs, and you can put the heads on any of the bodies. So there's a bit of you know, customization that you don't really get with the Space Marines, you know, which is nice. And yeah, you can really customize them to have different heads moving at different places, the torsos twisting. It's just the legs are going to be in the same direction. If I can even find right, so these are kind of the same model. But look how different they look. They've got the same legs moving forward, but one's lowered the rifle, one's aiming it up, one's got the head tilted, one's got the Vexilla. So yeah, even though they've got the same legs, there's enough of a difference with these, which is pretty nice for like I'd say a horde sort of army. But yeah, that was the Vexilla. You've also got the Vox version. The only kind of limitations with these, other than the legs, is the arm aiming, is the arm holding the rifle will only go with the arm that's sculpted with the Lasrifle. So you just got to be careful to keep those two pieces together. But they can go on any of the 5 different sort of torsos and things, which is pretty good. Everything else is quite straightforward. You can opt to glue extra packs and extra grenades. There's plenty of room there, and you could really go ham on these and put loads of grenades around that belt. You know, I put a canteen on that one, or maybe it was modelled with a canteen. I think it was modelled with a canteen. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, you get some extra canteens and things. You don't have to put these bayonets on, these kind of pikes. They are a bit fiddly to put on, but thankfully the mould lines aren't too bad with these models. I haven't really removed that much of the mould lines. I think you can bash these out quite quick, which is good for, again, like a horde army. So spare parts then, considerable number of spare parts just with these 10. Right here are the spare parts. So you've got a Lasrifle, you've got these power swords, so you get these on each sprue, hence why there's 2, because there would be 2 sprues for this 10. I should have 2 power fists, yeah. So you get these power fists, which are all right. I mean, I think I've actually equipped with my other sergeant with a plasma pistol and power fist, just to give him a bit more power. Pardon the overuse of that, but yeah, power fist. You get different kind of Vexilla icon, which I did use on the other one. Not quite sure whether one's heretic and one's loyalist, I'm not sure, but you get this. I think it's like a blast pistol. It's not a las pistol, it's like a charged one. Got another power sword there. Got another banner. You get number of heads, of course, with these like Vox type heads. I don't know if you can see this. The camera's going a bit odd. You get these heads too, which don't have the helmet on. You get a number of them, but not enough to have all of them without the helmets, which, yeah, you're mainly going to be equipping all these with helmets. You get a needle pistol there. You get a hand flamer that has, oh, it's just here. You get these, I think this is a las pistol. Maybe this might be different. Maybe this is a las blaster and this is a las pistol. I don't know, there's the two similar, aren't they? Another plasma pistol, no melter, just the hand flamer, and then I've got a melter bomb here, and then these canisters. I'm not quite sure what these are. They're not grenades, but yeah, you get those, and a number of bayonets as well, and yeah, there's canteen. Look, an extra little canteen. So sorry, my fingernails are a bit rank. Yeah, I got some ink in them earlier. So yeah, there's a little canteen. So yeah, a number of spare parts. Your mileage may vary in terms of being able to use them. You could use them in your other Solar Auxilia, you could use them with your command section. The thing is, if you've got other Solar Auxilia, you've probably got more than enough parts for those, but it's nice to have some extra grenades and extra bits and bobs that you can just attach to them. But these are the spare parts just for these 10. Similar number for the other 10 that I've built. Size comparisons then. Let's just kick off with other faction troops before we go on to actual Solar Auxilia. So the first sort of troops I want to compare them to is, of course, Mechanicum. They've recently been released. So there's a Tecthrol, there's a Thalax, and there's a Castellux. Yeah, believe it or not, this is a troop choice. So give you an idea. Castellux troop compared to Lasrifle, Tecthrol. All the Tecthrolls are smaller than these. Maybe these are like 5 foot. I doubt they're even 6 foot. These servitors, and then the Thalaxes are definitely taller. Got the Terminator bases, much more of a presence. Probably really difficult to take down if you just got your Lasrifles. So that's those. Next to Space Marines, of course. You've got Mark III and Mark VI. So Mark III on the left, Mark VI on the right. Space Marines are a good foot taller, probably a little bit bigger. Remember, these aren't like Primaris Space Marines at all, but these are all the first gen Space Marines. And of course, that gives you an idea of, you know, Firstborn and Primaris. Primaris another foot taller. So that's quite a good comparison. Maybe at this point I will just show you a comparison with the other 40k miniatures while we're here. So there's a normal Space Marine compared to Solar Auxilia. There's a Primaris, fair bit bigger. And this kind of matches up with the Space Marine 2 game, I think. I mean, the Primaris could be just a little bit bigger, just a little bit, but it kind of does match up quite well with like the Cadians in that game. So there you go, that's those comparisons with Space Marines and other Mechanicum. Compared to other Solar Auxilia units then, so here are the Velataris, I think they are. They're going to be the same size. They've just got the void armor. They're a bit chunky. Same size bases, and though I think these are they're 25 mil. Yeah, so they're on those same size bases. They go quite well. They share some aesthetics, at least in size, compared to the sort of light Sentinels, the Hermes. Gives you some idea. I think these go better with the Velataris though. Compared to some vehicles, of course, well, I might as well show you the Aethon Heavy Sentinel while we're here. There you go. Fair bit bigger than your troops, but I've got 2 of these now, so they go well to support the Lasrifles, and these are just a bit of, I don't know, I don't really see much use for those other than a distraction, but you will be carting them around in a Dracosan, probably, maybe, you know, you either go for 20 and hope they survive, or have 20 of them stuffed in this expensive points cost Dracosan armoured transport. It's a nice transport, it's quite thin, it's not as good as the Triaros by any means in terms of a kit or model, I don't think. Maybe, like, looking at it, you could probably put 20 in. I think it's kind of doable. But yeah, this is what, you know, if you wanted like a mechanized army, you'd put your 20 in one of these, and it would protect them from sort of heavy fire. Compared to a Lehman Russ, because I might as well. Here is a Lehman Russ assault tank, and yeah, the size sort of works with those. So that's all the size comparisons I wanted to make with the Solar Auxilia. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Solar Auxilia rifle section. As I mentioned earlier, they are a troop choice and they will cost you 60 points, which is quite cheap for 10 troops. What you're getting with these 60 points is the Sergeant has a movement of 6 inches, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 2 attacks, leadership 7, and a save of 4+, which is alright. The save is good, you know, only 1 less than a Space Marine there. The normal Auxilia have the same stat line, but have 1 less attack at 1 and a worse leadership at 6. Compared to, say, the tech thralls of the Liber Mechanicum, the tech thralls are of course cheaper. They don't have like a sergeant, so you know they're kind of just on their own. They don't have like a little leader. You can have 30 of them in a unit, whereby the rifle section you can only have a max of 20, but their overall stat line for the tech thralls is much worse. You know, their weapon skill and ballistic skill is worse. It's only 2. Their strength and toughness and wounds are all the same. Their initiative, they're slower, though at initiative 2. Their attacks are the same at 1. Leadership is the same, but their save is way worse at 6. They're not really getting a save. So there is that. Yes, they're 15 points cheaper, but they are, you know, more than 15 points worse, I think. They're not very survivable at all. I mean, I know that they've both got the same toughness, but at least these guys can have that save of 4+. Now, their wargear is a Lasrifle. I'll go through the rules of Lasrifle in a moment. They have void armor. They have frag grenades, crack grenades. So that might give you a bit of extra strength against more armoured foes. Unit type is Auxilia Sergeant is infantry, line, close order character, and the Auxilia Infantry is line, close order. Special rules, Tertio. An Auxilia rifle section of no more than 10 models may take an Aurochs transport as a dedicated transport. We don't have the plastic Aurochs transport kit. It would be nice if we get that, and then we get the kind of Predator version of it. Hopefully we'll get that in the future. And then a unit of any size may take a Dracosan armoured transport as a dedicated transport. As a dedicated transport, this does not use up an additional force organisation slot, but its points cost must still be paid for as part of the army. Solar Auxilia rifle section may include up to 10 additional Auxilia at 5 points each. So you are getting a bit of a deal there, because you're going to get 20 of them for 110 points as opposed to 2 units of 10 for 120. Any model with a Lasrifle may take a bayonet for 1 point each. One Auxilia in the unit may be upgraded to have a Vox Interlock at 5 points, an Auxilia Vexilla for 5 points, and an Augury Scanner for 5 points. The Sergeant may exchange their Lasrifle for the following: a Las Pistol and Close Combat Weapon for 3, may exchange the Las Pistol for a Blast Pistol for 2 points, Needle Pistol for 2, Hand Flamer for 2, or a Plasma Pistol like mine has for 5 points. May also exchange a Close Combat Weapon for one of the following: a Charnable Weapon for 5 points, Power Weapon for 5, or a Power Fist for 10. So quite straightforward there. I'll just go through the rules for the Lasrifle. Why not? It's often the laughing stock of other armies, them ridiculing it and calling it a flashlight. The Lasrifle itself is different to a Lasgun. I must make that point. So a Lasgun is typically 24-inch range. It's only the strength 3, doesn't have an armor penetration, and is rapid fire. A Lasrifle, however, has 2 weapon profiles. It has a volley shot, which is 30 inches, pretty decent. Strength 3 though, but it does have an armor penetration of 6, and it is heavy too. So these Lasrifles are heavy weapons. The second weapon profile, or firing option, is called Blast Charger. Now this reduces the range by 12 inches to 18 inches, so below the bolt gun range, but it bumps up the strength to 6, the armor penetration at 4, and turns it into heavy 1. So you can either have 20 strength 6 AP4 shots at 18 inches, or you can have 40 strength 3 AP 6 inches at a longer range of 30 inches. So that's pretty good. It gives you options depending on how far your enemy is. Space Marines are still going to blow these apart, because they're very squishy, and their save isn't, the best, but it's still only 1 worse than Space Marine power armor. But also the Sergeant only gets the 1 wound. So it really depends on whether you want to spend those extra points in giving him a Plasma Pistol or a Power Fist or something, if they're going to be in a unit of 20. How you would use these: definitely securing objectives. You want to keep these quite safe, although with their saves of 4+, I'd say a blob of 20 is quite survivable. But yeah, to up their survivability, definitely put them in a Dracosan, if you can fit them all in a Dracosan, because if you of course go for a Dracosan with the Demolisher Cannon, that lowers the capacity, the troop carrying capacity, down to 10. So just bear that in mind when you're building your army lists, how many you want in these. Personally, I would put more of an elite unit like the Velatari in with a Dracosan with a Demolish Cannon, or even the command unit into that one, and maybe put a group of 20 of these in a Dracosan. But it depends on what you want to do and how mechanized your force is. Nothing wrong with having 10 of these in a Dracosan and another 10 in another Dracosan, and then just driving up to objectives, but you're probably not going to hold those. if you do that, and that's a lot of points sunk into 2 Dracosans, which are either 175 points or 225 with those Demolisher cannons. What do you guys think of the Solar Auxilia Lasrifle section? I know I've just shown 10 in this review, but I do have the other 10 built, and all 20 of them with the command unit will feature in the upcoming Solar Auxilia Battle Group box review. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.